Disclaimer. This video is for educational and storytelling purposes only. It is not financial advice, legal advice, or an accusation. It is not against any specific company, bank, lender, app, employer, or institution. Your paycheck arrives at 12:04 a.m. You do not celebrate. You calculate rent first, then the credit card, then the student loan, then the car payment, then the subscription you forgot to cancel, then groceries, then gas, then the tiny amount left over. The part that is supposed to make you feel like an adult with choices. You are 24 years old. On paper, you earn more money than you ever have. In real life, the money passes through you. Not like money. Like a package already addressed to someone else. You do not touch the money. You route it. From employer to landlord. From employer to bank. From employer to lender. From employer to insurance company. From employer to every company standing between your labor and your peace. This is the first level. Cash flow without control. You think your problem is that you do not make enough. And maybe that is true. But it is not the whole truth. Because the system does not only want your money, it wants your timing, it wants your attention. It wants you tired on payday. Tired enough to order food. Tired enough to click buy now. Tired enough to say I deserve this. And you do. That is the cruel part. You do deserve comfort. You do deserve rest. You do deserve one small thing. Something that makes the week feel less like punishment. But the market learned something important about exhausted people. Exhausted people do not buy products. They buy relief. And relief is easier to sell than discipline. So the second level begins. The reward loop. You have a hard day. You buy something small. Coffee. Delivery. A new shirt, a streaming upgrade, a weekend trip you cannot really afford, but you can almost justify it. Nothing looks dangerous alone. That is how it works. No single purchase ruins you. The damage is not dramatic. It is quiet. $20 here, $38 there. A subscription under $10. A payment plan split into 4 pieces. So the truth feels smaller. You are not irresponsible. You are being studied. Every app knows when you hesitate. Every platform knows where your thumb slows down. Every store knows the word sale works better, especially when your life already feels expensive. You think you are making decisions. Often you are responding to designs. The button is bright. The friction is low. The payment is delayed. The dopamine is immediate. And somewhere a dashboard records your behavior as conversion. That is the third level. Your impulse becomes data. At first, the data looks harmless. What you like. What you click. What you abandon in the cart. What you return to at night. Especially when you are alone and tired. Then the data becomes prediction. What you might buy. When you might buy it. How much pressure you can tolerate before you click. Which version of the price feels painless. Which monthly payment sounds small enough to pass your defenses. Nobody needs to force you. That would be inefficient. The better system lets you choose. But it already prepared the thing you wanted. And when you cannot pay all at once, a solution is waiting. Buy now. Pay later. 4 easy payments. No interest if paid on time. No problem if your future self is more responsible. More responsible than your present self. That is the fourth level. Borrowing from tomorrow. At first, it feels smart. Why pay now when you can spread it out? Why feel the pain today? The future version of you can handle it. So you divide one purchase into 4. Then another. Then another. The payments are small enough to ignore. Until they arrive together. A pair of shoes. A phone case. A birthday gift. A hotel room. A repair you could not avoid. A little emergency. A little comfort. A little version of the life you thought you would have by now. Then the future starts sending invoices. And suddenly, next month is crowded before it begins. You realize something. Debt does not always arrive as disaster. Sometimes it arrives as convenience. Sometimes it arrives with clean design, soft colors, and a notification that says you have been approved. Approved. That word feels good. Approved means someone looked at you and said yes, even if what they approved was your ability to owe. Then your credit score becomes part of your identity. That is the 5th level. The reputation of debt. You learn the number. You check it often. You feel proud when it rises. You feel anxious when it falls. A private company using rules you did not write gives you a score. That score can affect your apartment, your car, your interest rate, sometimes even your confidence. You start behaving for the score. You keep cards open. You pay on time. You carry just enough usage to look active, but not enough to look desperate. You are not only managing money now, you are managing how lenders see you. This is where the machine becomes elegant. It punishes chaos. Then it profits from people trying to escape chaos. The better your score, the more offers you receive. Higher limits, pre-approved loans, premium cards, rewards programs, cashback, points, miles. The language changes. It no longer sounds like debt. It sounds like status. Metal card, exclusive access, member benefits, priority service. You feel upgraded, and maybe you are. But the rule has not changed. The bank does not reward you because it admires you. It rewards you because you are becoming a more useful borrower. That is the sixth level. Status consumption. You are no longer buying only things. You are buying distance. Distance from the person you used to be. The apartment tells a story. The car tells a story. The vacation tells a story. The watch, the phone, the restaurant, the gym, the neighborhood, the airport lounge. Each one whispers the same sentence. You made it. But the sentence is rented. And rent is due every month. At this level, the danger is not that you cannot afford anything. The danger is that you can almost afford everything. Almost is where the profit lives. Almost comfortable. Almost free. Almost caught up. Almost rich. Then a raise comes in. You promise yourself this time will be different. For 3 months, it is. Then the new income becomes normal. The higher rent becomes normal. The better car becomes normal. The nicer restaurants become normal. The life you once dreamed about becomes the new baseline. And the stress returns wearing better clothes. That is the seventh level. Lifestyle inflation. Nobody notices it happening. There is no ceremony, no announcement, no villain, just 100 small decisions. Each one says you work hard. Each one says you deserve better. Again, you do. But better is a moving target. And if your identity depends on proving you are improving, you will always need a more expensive mirror. You start to understand something strange. People earning twice as much as you still complain about money. It is not always greed. Sometimes it is architecture. Their obligations grew around their income, like vines around a fence. Private school, mortgage, second car, aging parents, childcare, insurance, taxes, vacations that now feel mandatory because everyone in their circle takes them. At every level, people call it normal. That is how traps survive. They disguise themselves as normal. Then one day something breaks. Not dramatically. No bankruptcy. No collapse. Just one event. A medical bill. A layoff. A slow month. A family emergency. A car repair. The kind of thing every financial expert says you should prepare for. The kind of thing life sends anyway. Prepared or not. You reach for the emergency fund. There is not enough. You reach for the credit card. There is room. That is the eighth level. The bridge. Debt becomes the bridge between who you are and who you are trying to appear to be. At first, you promise it is temporary. And maybe it is. But interest has a memory longer than motivation. It compounds when you are tired. It compounds when you are embarrassed. It compounds when you avoid opening the app. Because looking at the number makes your chest tighten. The balance becomes emotional. You stop seeing a number. You see guilt. You see delay. You see the version of yourself who should have known better. But shame is profitable too. Shame keeps people quiet. And quiet people rarely negotiate. They rarely ask for help. They rarely read the terms. They just pay what they can and hope the future arrives kinder than the past. That is a ninth level. The interest economy. At this level, your stress produces yield. Your delay produces revenue. Your minimum payment becomes someone else's predictable cash flow. A portfolio somewhere holds thousands of people like you, not by name, by risk category, by balance, by payment behavior, by probability of default. Your anxiety has been aggregated. Your fatigue has been priced. Your future income has been modeled before you earn it. This is the part nobody puts in the ad. The system does not need you to fail completely. Complete failure is messy. Defaults are expensive. Collections are ugly. The most profitable customer is not always the one who collapses. It is the one who almost escapes, but never quite does. Pays on time. Carries a balance. Feels responsible. Stays in the game. Then you begin to see the shape of it. The paycheck comes in. The obligations go out. The card fills the gap. The interest stretches the gap. The stress creates the purchase. The purchase creates the balance. The balance creates the payment. The payment creates the need for the next paycheck. The circle is not broken because it is working exactly as designed. Then something changes. Not because you suddenly become a genius, because you become tired of being monetized. You start with one boring decision. You write everything down. Not in a beautiful app. Not in a perfect spreadsheet. Just the truth. Income. Fixed costs. Debt. Interest rates. Subscriptions. Food. Transport. Random spending. The first time you look at it, you feel sick. That is normal. Clarity often feels like punishment at the beginning. Then it becomes power. You cancel what you forgot. You call what you avoided. You sell what you do not use. You stop pretending small things are too small to matter. Because the small things were never small. They were leaks. That is the 10th level. Awareness. Awareness does not make you rich, but it stops you from bleeding blindly. You choose one debt, not all of them. One, the one with the worst interest. You attack it like it personally insulted your future. You still live. You still buy coffee sometimes. You still have bad weeks. You are not becoming a machine. You are becoming conscious. And consciousness is the beginning of escape. Months pass. The balance drops. Not fast enough to feel cinematic, but enough to feel real. For the first time, the number moves in the right direction. You discover the truth about financial progress. It is usually boring. No dramatic music. No transformation montage. Just repeated decisions. Made by a person slowly becoming harder to sell to. That is the 11th level. Resistance. You stop confusing convenience with kindness. You stop confusing approval with opportunity. You stop confusing rewards with generosity. You stop confusing lifestyle with identity. You begin to ask better questions. Who profits if I delay this payment? Who benefits if I feel behind? Who earns money when I feel insecure? Who designed this to feel painless at the start and expensive later? These questions do not make you cynical. They make you awake. And awake people are harder to harvest. Eventually, the emergency fund exists. Not huge, not impressive, but real. 1 month. Then 2. Then 3. Money sitting quietly doing nothing. At first that feels inefficient. Then you understand. Its job is not to grow. Its job is to stand between you and panic. That is the 12th level. Liquidity as protection. You are not rich, but you are less available to exploitation. A bad week no longer becomes a loan. A broken car no longer becomes a financial identity crisis. A rude manager no longer feels like a prison guard. You have options now. Small options. But small options are where freedom begins. Then you invest. Carefully. Boringly. Automatically. No fantasy. No secret strategy. No overnight escape. You are not trying to become rich by Tuesday. You are trying to protect your future self. So they do not start over every month. You learn the final rule. The goal is not to look wealthy. The goal is to become difficult to control. Because when your paycheck is already promised before it arrives, you are not paid. You are processed. When your lifestyle needs applause, you are not free. You are managed. When your stress becomes someone else's business model, your peace becomes an act of rebellion. Years later, payday arrives again. 12:04 a.m. The number appears. But this time it does not immediately vanish. Some goes to bills. Some goes to savings. Some goes to investments. Some stays. Quietly. For the first time, money feels different. Less like an emergency vehicle racing through your life. More like a tool in your hand. Somewhere another 24-year-old refreshes a banking app before sunrise. Rent is due. The card is full. The ads are waiting. The offers are ready. The system has already built the path. Spend. Split. Borrow. Upgrade. Repeat. They think the goal is to make more money. And maybe that is where it starts. But the real goal is quieter. Stop letting every dollar arrive with someone else's name already written on it.